I'll just come up with what are the main important dates for enhanced entrance exam. So your entrance examination will be on 28th November 2021, and afterwards you'll get a time of like personal interview would be on 8th of December. So while we are preparing for interview, what we have to look onto is what are our, if we have done any research publications, it's just depending upon the panel, anything could come up under the field of psychology. So it's not particularly that in this area or that area that we have to study. It is your knowledge, your applied knowledge in the level of psychology. So anything that you have studied, your research publications, your knowledge regarding how to do counseling session, anything can come up in that session. And for important references, as I have mentioned, now it's only just 14 more days for entrance exam. And the best way for preparing for enhance is don't go for the conceptual level. Almost I know, like everyone would be going through your conceptual notes, preparing from GRE psychology and Laura Lincoln's APA psychology. Those are the key conceptual books that you could refer for enhanced entrance exam. Rather than that, if you have looked on to the past question papers of 2019 and 2020, you would understand more of the questions that have come up in enhanced entrance exam is of questions that has been copied from very like Cengage publications or from very different question papers. So please try to do as many of questions that you're able to. Try out maximum questions in these 14 days rather than going and studying a conceptual level. It's something if where you do not have a conceptual clarity, then please do check back with what you are lacking. Otherwise, try out and revise the questions that you go wrong, and try out as many as questions that you would be able to. And do we have any weightage of marks from the syllabus chapters? There isn't any special weightage as such, mainly research methodology and statistics, psychological testing, biological basis of behavior, and human development and interventions of UGC net syllabus. But if you check onto the chapter human development and interventions, under that comes under abnormal psychology, developmental psychology, and even counseling psychology. So in vast area, you would have to cover all these chapters equally. So let me share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, it is visible. Yeah.
Okay, so what is that? Like, actually, I'm not able to see my screen properly. What's that you are being able to see?
Yeah, module 2. Your
Okay.
notes.
So these are the prepared notes of brain behavior relations. So rather than going on to for preparing a new note through the last 14 days, just make some like refer to your previous notes, and like all of you might have made short notes, go through it, and whatever you have highlighted so far, just brush up your knowledge and try as many as questions possible. Let it be from your UGC net exam. I personally would prefer in Kaplan's GRE psychology as well as Laura Lincoln's AP psychology. After each chapter, you would get a set of 10 or 20 questions. Do practice out that as well as the last questions of Kaplan's GRE Psychology. That would be around 170, 180 questions. And which all questions that you are not able to recall or do not understand the concepts, just write it down and revise these questions which you have like found difficulty while preparing for it. And more than that, in these days, in these 14 days, try to keep 75 minutes or like a 60-minute duration daily as a mock test. Give like however you are preparing for the exam, just keep aside your phone like for 1 hour, switched off, and take a question paper and try to do as many as questions like an exam mode. So you would be able to be like how many questions within the time limit you are able to do. And enhanced entrance exam do have negative marking. So please don't like as we do for net exam, go and bubble up all the answers. Just what you are confident. So like while I was writing my enhanced entrance exam, first what I would do is give a quick glance of these 60 questions, 75 questions, and which I'm 100% confident I will mark at the very right moment. Because at the second time when we go and read it, there comes a confusion. At first time, what happens is we are confident, like this is what we have studied. So the questions that you are 100% confident, give it in the first try. Later on the second try, never ever like if you feel that question you do not have any idea, don't go and attempt for it, because just for point marks you would lose your rank. You would lose your rank in the rank list. So when there is a condition where there is in the options where you are able to rule out two of the options, and among the remaining two there is 70 percentage this would be the right answer and 30 percentage this would be the wrong, go for that 70 percentage and mark it. Because it's not always that at most of the times that when you write only the non answers that you would score it. People who try to give a chance for where you are confident, you get it. And by questions, are you saying to go through previous net questions? I would suggest not only previous net questions, but also questions that provided in the Google, like I can help you with it. So as I have shown earlier, these were the set of questions. Just a second. So these were a set of questions that I had prepared. Like I was preparing for 2019 as well as 2020 examinations. 2019, like I, even though I prepared a very little bit, I was not able to score even for the interview. Then in 2020, I was able to qualify IMHANS M.Phil entrance. So try out as maximum questions in these 14 days. And whenever you have a clarification on what exactly would need to be, like if there are many answers for it, try and write it down for each and every question. Okay, can you mention authentic online sites for MCQ questions? You don't have to look for especially authentic, because one of my friends who have written MPhil entrance exam throughout the like not only enhance in 2020, I mean almost every entrance exam, it was a like her comment was one of the toughest and might be the most toughest entrance exam would be of enhance. But it's not only uh, just due to the questions that's been coming to the entrance exam. It is from the selection. The enhanced question paper is developed by LBS Center, and it is under the control of state government. So the government officials under the LBS panel would be making the question paper. So you would not correctly specify from which side they would be providing. The questions would be taken from there, and you can refer to as many as sites as possible. So next question is stipend available in enhance? I would say yes, stipend is available, but you have to go through some procedures. If you qualified net JRF, then can I get for higher UGC stipend or the institute results. If you are qualifying net JRF, of course, you would be getting the net JRF stipend. So as mentioned, the important references for the entrance exam, again, now it's not the time to study as it's only a 14 days. It's not the time to study for the conceptual level deep basis. But even though if you feel you are having a lack, refer Kaplan's GRE Psychology and Laura Lincoln's APA Psychology. Okay, is there anything else that I have to add on to? So by giving a brief outline of how the entrance exam would be, the entrance exam would be of 75 multiple choice questions to be answered in 60 minutes. There would be an active marking system, and these are the syllabuses that would be covered as I have earlier mentioned. So again, the common tip is to hello. Okay, can you please repeat the referral books, ma'am? Okay, it's GRE Psychology by Kaplan and Laura Lincoln's AP Psychology. If you would go through the latest revisions or editions, it would be quite helpful for you. Is there something really you want to know about, like how enhanced life look like, or like what is it that you are planning to do while taking MPhil in clinical psychology? Okay. So, like in 2019, it was for the first time. Like I completed my master's in 2019. After that, I wrote at least TIS MPhil entrance exam, JSS Medical College, then IMHANS and IMHANS. So, throughout writing this entrance exam, what I was able to understand is that without proper preparation or even without proper studies that you have maintained so far, you would not be able to crack entrance exams. It is highly competitive, and with a very minute preparation, you won't be able to crack many of the exams. And compared from that, what I found in Enhance was that Enhance just focus on what are the typical questions that would come up from the net exam question papers or from even set exam question papers. So I, during my 2020 preparations for around 6 months, was trying to gather as many as questions as far as possible. And whenever I was committing a question, in the four options, I would try out like what is, like why this answer was applicable to this particular question and why not the other three options. So by studying in such a way, you would be able to understand, you will get a conceptual clarity at the same time, and you would be able to understand how to rule out other answers. So that was the preparation strategy that has been used throughout the 6 months. And how is the case experiences and supervision in enhance? So once you are into MHANS, like we would be there to assist you, maybe MPhil second year trainees as well as we are having supervisors who would be helping you with it. Anything else?
Okay, can I ask one?
Yeah.
Okay, have you write a net exam?
Yeah, I have attended net exam.
Okay, so comparing to net exam, how different is this enhanced entrance exam?
Okay, for net exam, it's what I have. Oh, yeah, I got it. So for net exam, it's a vast area. You from the deep level of practical and applied knowledge, you would in net exam the more focus would be of theoretical knowledge. Mm? But in enhanced entrance exam, it's not specifically theoretical knowledge that they would ask. More of applied as well as theoretical, both combined, it would be there. And what some of the specific questions that would have come up in the last 2 years pre-entrance exam were uh, like one was it the books and authors. So while you are studying about a particular author or a particular book, just try and write it out. For example, okay. So while you're studying, along with it, make a separate list of who are the authors and what are the books written by the person. And these marked ones are the relevant as well as repeated questions that have come up in enhanced entrance exams. So while you're preparing, just mark out which all are the books. Make a separate list of it. Even though while you're studying, who are the psychologists who have come up with specific theories rather than studying along with the other questions. Do make separate charts along with what you are studying. So these are Abraham Maslow's Toward a Psychology of Being, Rollo May's Love and Will, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. These all were previous year's questions. So try to, while you are learning, try to contribute into the list that you have been making as many books, like who are the particular authors who have written specific books in that area and what are the books that's been commonly used.
Thank you.
So this okay. So this is how like while you're preparing, Hriday, I think I have answered your question, but still in net exam there's a vast area. Compared to net exam, enhanced entrance only carries a little bit of portions, and by knowing each in-depth knowledge, it would be able to you will be able to qualify enhanced entrance. Okay. If we clear the entrance, then only we have to attend the interview or we have to attend both, then result. Okay, first your entrance exam would be conducted. From that, there are 8 seats in entrance exam. Like for enhance, you are having total 8 seats. In that, 5 general seats and rest remaining reservation seats. So while you are preparing, try to prepare as in such that you would be getting into the general seats. And so for the interview, what would be done is that from the entrance, 1:3 ratio, as I guess. Yeah. So if there are 8 seats, 24 people would be called for the interview, and from there, 8 would be selected for enhance. So the question of would you by any chance know the entrance exam date for IMHANS Bangalore? Of course, I'm sorry. I do not have an idea about it. Can you detail the syllabus of MPhil in what will we do in these 2 years? Okay, I can help with you for that. So, if you have gone through the prospectus provided in the LBS site, so for MPhil Clinical Psychology, there are 8 seats per year, and the selection of students would be based on 75% marks for written examination and 25% marks for personal interview. Then you would be having 3 papers in the first year. One is Psychosocial Foundations of Behavior and Psychopathology. Second is Statistics and Research Methodology. Third, Psychiatry paper. Along with it, you would be having your clinical works. That would be from morning 9 to noon 1 o'clock. Afterwards, you would be having your academic sessions. And towards the end, towards the end of the first year, you would be having to submit 5 cases of full-length psychodiagnostics report. Then again in the second year, you would be having the papers, Biological Foundations of Behavior, Psychotherapy and Counseling, and Behavioral Medicine. And towards the end, you will be submitting your dissertation as well as 5 cases of full-length psychotherapy report. So in the first year, you would be submitting the psychodiagnostic report. That is of 5 cases along with in the 5 domains, what all assessments you would be doing. And in the second year, it is of psychotherapy sessions. What therapeutic formulation you have done and what therapy you have been done for the patient. So these are the academic papers. Along with it, you would be having your clinical supervision and clinical work throughout entire 2 years. So is there any particular syllabus? Okay, as I have mentioned earlier, if you're looking for the IMHANS M.Phil entrance exam, the particular syllabus is of UGC NET exams chapters. That is the module 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, and 9. That is research methodology and statistics, psychological testing, biological basis of behavior, and human development and interventions. If you are looking detailed into the syllabus, just a second. So this is how your question booklet would look upon. You would be bubbling all the answers. So once you have bubbled, there is no chance of rubbing it or erasing it. So just for the answers that you are 100% confident, do mark it. So this is what the syllabus of IMHANS M.Phil entrance look like. Research methodology and statistics, comprising all the deep area from what are the research designs, operational definitions, paradigms of research, whether it be quantitative, qualitative, statistical measures used in psychology, correlation analysis, regression, factor analysis, experimental designs. Hold together the research methodology paper that you have studied in your UG/PG. In psychological testing, you would be looking on to what are the types of test, methods of test construction, ways of test standardization, norms creating, different types of test, application of psychological test in various settings. Biological basis of behavior include sensory systems, neurons, CNS and PNS. So it would be more of how and what are the components of central nervous system, what are the functions of it, major parts, limbic system, PNS, how the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system works, the four lobes of the brain, hemispheres of neocortex, and which are the sensory association areas and what all are the function that it does. So brain behavior relations entire topic would be covered in it. And for the materials, you can contact RUFA for it. Okay, ma'am, how many cases you attended during the 2 year? Okay, right now I'm doing my first year at IMHANS, and so far I have seen 600 cases. And it depends upon which unit. Like in IMHANS, you would be working under a particular unit for 3 months. So let it be under the child OP or adult OP or family unit, neuropsychological assessment unit. So in whether depending upon which unit you are placed in, the cases you see differ. Do we have to study general psychology? So questions from that part. Okay. So while I was mentioning, if you are looking through the syllabus, human development in the last chapter of wide area connected with it. Stages of development. Like here comes the developmental psychology entire section. Then psychopathology, that is abnormal psychology. Psychotherapy, that would be of psychotherapy paper and other version. Then factors in educational achievement, teacher effectiveness, counseling. So it would be the counseling and guidance paper. So entirely, if you look on general psychology, most of the sections are covered, but the areas that you could omit are social psychology paper, because personality comes under human development, so that is an important section that you would have look onto. Abnormal psychology would come under it. So it is social psychology, health psychology that you could opt out from enhanced MPhil entrance exam. Rest remaining topics that's being covered under general psychology, as it is part of the human intervention chapter, you would be looking onto it. So for them, as I mentioned earlier, reference text or the question booklets that I have shown so far, you can contact RUFA for it. So like you would be having what are the question, like enhanced specific question booklet, which would be comprising of more than 200 pages. It's just a sample copy of it. Then brain behavior relations note, and as well as fundamentals of psychological assessment note. So these are the brush up notes that you could use for these last 14 days, just to go through it and have a brief idea on what you're studying. Rather than that, in these 14 days, as I have mentioned earlier, try out maximum questions and be confident with that question. Just even without option, if that question comes up, you would have the capability to answer it. So for the materials, I would be sharing like what all materials that you require. Do have a contact with RUFA, and I would be sharing with them. Is there anything else that I have to convey? It's not necessary that you could like message, even though you can unmute yourself and come up with questions. Hridaya?
So, any questions, guys?
If there isn't any
Anything?
questions, like
Yeah.
I think I have almost covered all the queries that have been so far. If there is anything left, do let me know.
There's a question in chat box. Why did you choose IMHANS?
Thanks. And could you please elaborate any other institutions? Okay, so like why I choose MPhil. So for me, studying another language was very tough. So during my practical or my field work at Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai, what I realized was that while communicating with the clients, while they turn out to their native language, as a as my mother tongue was Malayalam, it was difficult for me to have a grasp over the language. So while I was searching for government institutes so that you could get proper supervision and clinical guidance. So in Kerala, it's the only government institute, government autonomous institute that's providing MPhil entrance. And could you please elaborate any other institutions? So, as I have mentioned, in 2019, I have written three entrance exams, and only in 2020, just one, just because like I just wanted to study in IMHANS for the sake that it's a government institution and to get a grasp. And while I was inquiring regarding the professors who is being taught here, I was getting the very good information regarding them, how they have taken the sessions, online session, and so far. So, like again, complete determination to study at IMHANS. So, I haven't even applied for any other institutes. So, without having a proper knowledge, I'm not going to share about how like it's from the experience that you gain regarding gain information regarding other institutes. So, as I haven't written any other entrance exams, I am not a good person to speak about it.
Okay. Anything more to ask? Yes. Anything about the syllabus, questions, about preparation, anything? Okay.
I hope like everything is been covered. Still, if queries come up, you can contact with RUFA for that. And for the materials, everything, they would be helping you in assisting with it.
Okay. Is there any plus point that if you have any research publications, then you have more chance to get this in the
Yeah.
interview? Yes.
Okay. So like while you are preparing for the interview part, so your research publications, if you are qualified NET, if you are having JRF, each have extra additional point in your interview. So what all paper presentations, publications, whatever you have, just while in the interview, do present it in front of your interviewer. And that all thing would be again scored for it. Your PG entrance exam marks are not really big field. So if people who are just like above 55%, that's fine. That means you are net qualified. You don't have to score 90% or 80%. Even though you feel you are in a brain, your PG and like your PG exam marks are never calculated in your enhanced entrance or even in your enhanced interview marks.
Okay. Or do they expect us to to have an experience in this clinical setup, like any internship or
Never,
anything? No.
never. For to get admission into MPhil Clinical Psychology is just you have to qualify MA or MSc in Applied Counseling Clinical. That is, you just have to do MA or MSc in Psychology. Let it be Applied Counseling Clinical or whatever it is. You don't need to have a clinical experience because you are going to attain it. That's why we are doing MPhil in Clinical Psychology. So people, there is a wrong assumption in people that if you are studied only clinical psychology, you would be able to apply for MPhil clinical psychology. It's a wrong assumption. Whatever field of psychology that you have studied so far, that's fine. You are applying for MPhil clinical psychology to get training in clinical psychology. So there isn't any particular need that you do have to do internship or any supervisions in the field of clinical psychology beforehand.
Thank you.
Okay. So can we know how much was the cut-off mark last year for written exam? That was really funny question because last year the highest marks out of 75 was 35. It depends upon how much you have attained. So again, compared to 2019 and 2020 exams, 2020 was the toughest exam of IMHANS compared to 2019. So in 2019, the cutoff score was in 2019 for one question the score was 4 and one negative mark for each question. But in 2020, there is 1 mark for each question and 0.25 for negative marks. So if you look 75 into 4, it would be great marks in 2019. That means you will get 80, 63 high marks. But over here, there is, I think none of them have attained above 35. It was really tough question. But if you have, like while the question seems to be tough, if you are able to mark it with confidence with what all answers you have, you would be able to gain to enhance. Is there anything else remaining?
Ma'am, do we have an inpatient department or is it just the outpatient?
It's just an outpatient. In enhance, there is no an IP setting. It's only OP setting over here. And rather than telling an IP setting, you would be having a rehabilitation facilitation project that's being over here. And there, the patients would be there again till morning 9 to 3. That's it. It's only outpatient experience that you would be receiving from here.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, Jyotika, I am audible.
Ma'am, can we take MPhil in clinical psychology after completing PhD?
Yes, you could even do that.
Okay.
To work as a clinical recognized RCA clinical psychologist, you will have to need MPhil in clinical psychology under RCA recognition or PsyD in clinical psychology. That is a 4 years. And I hope in India there are only 2 institutes that are providing PsyD. One is Vicar and another is MIT, I guess so. And over there, 2 seats. That is in India totally only 4 seats for PsyD in clinical psychology. To gain name as clinical psychologist with RCA license, you need to have to do MPhil in clinical psychology. Or you would be getting RCA license after 5 years of experience after completing your MA in psychology? Hope I have answered your query, Radhika.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we can wind up at 6. Anything more? There's 10 more minutes. You can ask. Okay, I guess there is no questions. It's meaningless to wait. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you are on mute. Only you are on mute.
Yeah, okay, then it's fine. We'll wind up the session. Again, it's only 14 days. So, in these 14 days, again, my tip for enhancers, just go through the set exam question papers. That is being conducted by LBS again. Go through it, try out maximum questions, and if you could, like, if you can contact RUFA for the previous questions, they would be providing that of enhanced entrance exam. Try out, and you would be able to understand it's just a copy of what all are the previous questions that have happened so far. And most of the enhanced questions that you have seen is majority of questions copied from other institute exams or net exam or set exam. So please do try out the questions because there are no any other days for it. It's just 14 days. Try out as much as questions possible and do attend the exam. All the best for the aspiring MPhil students. Thank you.